Hi guys, we were doing like the SICI. This is the final portion of the simple interest compound interest, right? And in this way we will also finish this simple interest compound interest, and after that we will go to the next thing, which is average. But before going to average, let's go through like the basic of like the remaining of SICI. And important, this is like an arithmetic playlist, as I've already told you. And in case of this arithmetic playlist, you need to understand one thing very clearly. Like, we are going to cover everything. So if you are not like have not like subscribed us, please subscribe also. So you'll get to know, get to be notified everything, like whatever kind of videos we are uploading and everything. So please remember that. But the next thing, like, it's like we'll do questions obviously, because we have ended with some question. Now we will finish some 2, 3, 4, 5 more questions. Then we'll finish this class. Now, if a sum of money $P is invested at the interest rate of I% per year, compounded annually, and is a positive integer, the value of investment after 3n years will be how many times as great as the value of the investment after 2n years? So this is given. Now tell me what is given basically. The things which are given here, you need to understand first that the thing which is given, that is I% per year, that is the first thing. Second is compounded annually is also given, and n is a positive integer is also given, and the value of investment after 3n years and 2n years. So think about the value of the investment. So like P3n, that is the investment amount, like investment after 3n years. It has to be P into P. I am taking as the principal amount. P is what? Principal amount into 1 plus I upon 100 to the power 3n, yes or no? And similarly P2n has to be P into 1 plus I upon 100 to the power 2n, yes or no? Right? Now they have asked you P3n is what? How many times as great as the value of P2n? So for this thing, what I need to do, I just need to divide P3n upon P2n. That I can divide directly, right? P3n upon P2n. So which is P into 1 plus I upon 100 to the power 3n by P into 1 plus I upon 100 to the power 2n. So this P and P gets cancelled out, and this will become 1 plus I upon 100 P into 1, the P gets cancelled out, so 1 plus I upon 100 to the power 3n minus 2n, because this is 1a by b. So this is 1 plus I upon 100 to the power n. So how many times? The answer is option C, 1 plus I by 100 to the power n. This times it will be more. So this is one kind of question you can see, like, and we can discuss some more questions on this as well. But first you need to understand like this question. This is like just a question based on the formula. We have not done anything. We just find like P3n upon P2n, that's it. And that's how you can solve this type of question very easily. We will go to some difficult questions as well. So the difference between SI and CI after 2 years, very good question. After 2 years, at same rate of interest on same principal amount is 64. If the compound interest after 2 years is 704, what is the principal amount? So if CI is nothing said, that means it's compounded annually. You can take that. That is compounding annually, right? Now if it is compounding annually, the first thing you need to know, like let's say the CI after 2 years, okay? CI in 2 years is how much? 704. What is difference? That is 64. So what is SI? That is 704 minus 64, which is 640. Yes or no? That is for 2 years. So SI is 640. Now think about it. If 2 years SI is 640, what is 1 year SI? Because I know SI is basically directly proportional. If it for 2 years it is 640, for 1 year it has to be 640 upon 2, which is nothing but 320. Clear? Because we have known that thing from a long, because if in 1 year the rate is 10, if 1 year the interest is 10 in SI, 2 year it is 20, 3 year it is 30. It goes on like this directly, right? Now if I got this thing from here, so we can also understand another thing, that 320 is also the compound interest for the first year. Yes, because in the first year, if it is compounded annually, the SI and the CI are same. We already knew that. So we are doing all these things which have already used. Now this difference of 64 is basically interest, yes or no? The difference 64 is what? This is 64 is 320's 1 year interest, yes? So what is the rate then? The rate is 64 is the interest out of 320 into 100. So that is the rate. So which is 20. So the rate I'll get, that is 20%. So I'll get the rate 20%. Clear? Now when I get the rate 20%, now I can use P into T is 1 year into R is 20 upon 100 is equal to 320. So what is P? That is 1600. So very good and logical question. Now you can see I have not used any formula. I'm just using logic to solve this question. I'll show you how you can do this question in other ways as well. First, to just understand this, that is important, right? Now if I need to solve it in any other method also, like how I can solve this question. The first important thing that we can solve this question also in this way, think about it. In 320, what is the interest? When 64 is the interest, the principal amount is 320. When 64 is interest, principal amount is 320. When 1 is interest, the principal amount is 320 upon 64. When 320 itself is the interest, the principal amount is 320 into 320 upon 64. So in this way you also can solve this question, right? 1600. In this way you don't need to find the rate, you can directly solve this question also. And now the next thing also very, very crucial, like what else we can do with this particular thing? What else? Like can we use formula also? A lot of people have asked me whether we can use the formula to solve this question or not. My answer is yes, we can use the formula. Because I know what is 640. So 640 is what? P into 2 into R upon 100 is how much? 640. Right? And also we know that P into R square upon 100 square. This is the formula for difference. P into R square upon 100 square. Okay? P into R square upon 100 square, that is the difference, is equal to 64. Now I have this two equation. So if I divide this two equation, I'll easily get what is R. If I get R, put the value of R here, you'll get your answer also. So in both ways you can solve this question. So if you need to use the formula, do not use the formula for compound interest. Use the formula for difference and use the formula for simple interest. It will make your life easier. Even if you're using the formula. But if you're not using the formula, the best way to solve this question is use the basic and principal logic. Because logic is something is much more powerful than you can even imagine. Because if you're logically strong, you can solve a lot of questions very easily. Let's go for the next one. Now this is also a very good question. This is kind of question, a cat question. So it is like 880 kind of cat question I'm saying, like 1456. So it is said compound interest on a certain weight after 2 years is 880 and 1456. Weight matlab in certain amount we bol sakte ho. So like we are generally minute amount. So what is the principal amount, right? So what is given, like compound interest after 2 years is 180. So the formula, from the formula I can say if P is the principal amount, P into 1 plus R upon 100 square minus P is equal to 880. Can I write like this? Similarly also I can write P into 1 plus R upon 100 whole cube minus P is basically 1456. Clear? Now see how exactly I'm going to solve this question. There are two ways again we can solve this question. First I'm showing you the way which I generally prefer to solve, and you should solve in that way also. Now if I just divide these two things, just divide those two things. If I take P common, so it will become what? P into 1 plus R upon 100 square minus 1 by P into 1 plus R upon 100 whole cube minus 1 is equal to 880 by 1456. Now PP will get cancelled out obviously, and this 880 upon 1456 I can write as 440 728. I can write 440 upon 728. Now if I'm writing 440 upon 728, so what can I do with this also? I can write 440. Now this is the most crucial step I'm doing. Please watch carefully. So 440 can also be written as, let's say, like 1 plus r upon 100, इसका जो square है -1 divided by 1 plus r upon 100, इसका जो cube है -1. तो ये 440 and 728 को मैं ऐसे भी लिख सकता हूँ 0.440 by 0.728. Yes or no? And this thing also can be written as 1.44 minus 1 by 1.728 minus 1. Now 44 I know it is 12 square, and 728 we have to understand it is 12 cube. That's why I have already told you, remember squares and cubes till 15 cubes until 30 squares. So I am just using this now. So this has to be equal to 1.2 square minus 1, and this is 1.2 whole cube minus 1. So which is also same as 1 plus 20 upon 100 whole square minus 1 by 1 plus 20 upon 100 whole cube minus 1. Now we are getting the same identity in LHS also in RHS. So from this thing we can definitely say what is R. R is 20%. We can definitely conclude that what is R. R is 20%, because this became an identity, and whenever we get an identity we can directly conclude that. Now if I can conclude that R is 20%, now my job is easier because I just need to find P, right? So I can say this from this only, that is P into 1 plus R upon 100. So I can write from here. So if you can see, that is P into what is R, that is 21 plus 20 upon 100 square minus 1 is equal to 880. Yes or no? So from this thing we can write P, that is 1.44 minus 4, that is 0.44, is equal to 880. Now what is P? That is 880 upon 0.44. So if it is 0.44, so I just cancel this thing and I'm adding 00, so that is 2000. So what is the principal amount? The principal amount is 2000. And this is the fastest way to solve this question, remember. Because the way I am solving it is the fastest, and you have to understand how exactly I am solving this type of questions. Next important thing is also, now think about like what is the principal amount, what else you can solve this question. You can solve this question by even using other methods as well. So let's take 1 plus R upon 100 as x. Let's take this x. Okay? So it is basically x square minus 1 upon x cube minus 1 is equal to 440 upon 728. Now if I cancel it out, it will become x minus 1 into x plus 1 upon x minus 1 into x square plus x plus 1 is equal to 440 upon 728. So this x minus 1 and x minus 1 gets cancelled out. So this is x plus 1 into 728 is equal to 440 into x square plus x plus 1. Now you will get a quadratic equation. From this quadratic equation you can find x. From after finding x you can find r, and after finding r you can find principal amount. So you understand like how exactly this thing is much more difficult than this. But this can be solvable by this way also and this way also. In this way I'm using morely in identity, but in this way I'm morely using the quadratic equation format. So this is how you can solve this type of question. And please remember one thing, the very and foremost important thing, like whenever this kind of questions is coming, they have certain logic also. That's why it is 880 and 1456. From that thing I got 440 and 728, and I understand what is 440 and 728. So this is how you exactly solve questions. Next is find the ratio of simple interest to compound interest for 2 years at 4% per compounded yearly in 2 years. 4%. So about simple interest. So what is simple interest in 2 years? That is 2 into 4, that is equal to 8. Make it as simple as possible. What is compound interest? That is 4 plus 4 plus 4 into 4 upon 100, which is 8.16. Now what is the ratio? The ratio of SI upon CI and CI upon SI. Upon CI, so this is basically 8 upon 8.16, which is 800 upon 816, and if I divide it by 16, so it is basically 50 upon 51. So hence your answer is option A. Now it is a very simple question. You can see, you can directly solve this type of question. when there is this kind of question in your paper. What is the sum of money on which the difference between compound interest and the simple interest in 2 years is rupees 15 and the interest rate is 5% per annum? Now think about, like, just use the formula here. Don't do anything, just use the formula. First is formula is what? P r square upon 100 square is equal to how much? 15, because I know this is the difference between SI and CI in 2 years. Okay? Now what is R? R is 5 square upon 100 square is equal to 15. Now what is P? P is 15 into 100 into 100 upon 5 square. 5 into 5, let's say. So if 5 and 3 is there, 5 and 20 is there. So 20 into 3 is 60. That is 60 and double 0. So what is your answer? 6,000. So by this way you can directly solve this question. There is nothing to do more, right? So it is like exact same question. You can use directly the formula. You don't need to do anything. Just use the formula and you get the answer very shortly, very fast. So this is all about simple interest and compound interest. This is like the last portion of this class, SI and CI. I hope you have understood this. So right now we have already finished with ratio, percentage, we finished profit loss, and we finished also SICI. So now you can see we are having a rhythm and we are going with all the arithmetic chapters. I'll try to solve a lot of questions also, because SICI is a very important topic. For the last 2-3 years we have seen the increase in questions in SICI. That's why we are putting so much focus on SICI. And remember also one thing, SICI, especially the compound interest part, is a technical part because it is a kind of exponential thing. So you have to practice like relevant questions, and that's why I have to curate questions which are different type of questions, so that if you do all of these things, like your majority of things will be done. And if majority of things will be done, then one thing I can assure you, like you have, at least you will get the confidence to attempt the question. So, and about the playlist, what I'm saying, like we have already done the 4 things already. So I can say we have done with ratio first. So we have started with ratio, right? And if we have started with ratio, so first we have started with ratio, then we have started with percentage, then we finished profit loss, then we finished SICI. And these 4 chapters we can say the building block of arithmetic. Now we will go for the next section. The next section includes AMA, average, mixture, alligation. And after that, next section is time, speed, distance, and next is time and work. And we promise you we will finish the entire arithmetic playlist for you. And remember also one thing, that's a very crucial thing you should remember, that whenever you are going back with like solving this type of like questions or going with the questions, like you might have a lot of doubts also. So please clear your doubts, because doubt clearing is also a very important factor. Because if you're not clearing your doubts, if you don't understand how exactly you approach a particular thing, it is very difficult for you to improve, or like let's say to learn, because learning is a process where you have to have a clear mindset and like a clear problem solving mindset. Whenever you are facing problems, go like for the doubts, like clear your doubts and learn. So it's not only about this lectures, it's about like how you practice also, because I have always said the same thing. We can facilitate things, but the hard work has to be done by you, and we are counting on you, and yes, I am also counting on you. And yes guys, so we will see you in the next video, and remember, keep studying, be motivated, and keep learning. Thank you. See you in the next.